high school. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I struck a match and blew your mind, but I didn't mean it, and you didn't see it. I'm gonna stop before I start singing the whole song. What a prevalent and formative 100% BS time in our lives. I'm very heavy on the BS part because for me personally, high school was just bleh. I'm pretty sure it contributes to at least like 20% of the problems we face as an adult. That's because of high school. That's all I'm gonna say. Honestly, high school was like an extremely not exciting part of my life, and I say this a lot, but I just hated every second of it. That fortunately led to some extremely good stories that either shaped me or completely de-shaped me as a person and then shaped me again. So I thought, why not share some of these stories? And these are stories that keep coming up into my conscious mind after creeping out of my subconscious, and I've like buried them deep down, but honestly I just have like a lot of rage and annoyance and secondhand embarrassment towards everything and everyone. I just want to like anyways, I don't even have a stress ball here, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. Anyways, enjoy. I don't know if I'm gonna be holding this thing the whole time. Fancy schnancy. It's probably gonna get in front of my mouth like too close like this, and it might sound very airy like it probably does right now, and I don't want that. Plus I might be too lazy, so yeah.
I'm starting off strong, okay? I like to call this humbled by history. So picture this, 9th grade history class. I think this was after like our mock exams when we were getting our papers back. Everyone was like tense, the air was very thick, and there was this heavy silence that surrounded us. We all get our papers. It was kind of tough. It had like the Cold War and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know what Cold War meant back then. War fought in the cold is the first thing that comes to mind, but no, I know what a Cold War is. Anyways, once I got my paper, I looked at it and I just went like, huh? I gasped a loud gasp, basically. And I go back to my friends and they're like, oh, how much do you get? How much do you get? So obviously I told them how much I get because I'm like super proud of it. And it was out of 50. And I think I got like a 41, 42 or something. But keep in mind, I was still the new kid. So the history teacher, fun fact, was slightly mean. I saw her on my first day of school and she was the one who took me to my class, and she was so nice and smiley, and then all of a sudden once you like attend her classes, she's just this completely different person and you're just like, what the hell? No one has said a single word and we're looking at our marks, and I don't know what happened. I think someone asked her what the highest mark was in the class, and she ended up saying my mark. She's like, only one person got it, and she ended up saying my mark out loud. And that prompted my friend to break the heavy silence by saying, oh my god, you got the highest. Oh my god, you got the highest. Not only was I super overjoyed, I was extremely awkward feeling, kind of, because no one was saying anything and everyone was looking at me. Oh my god. But the best part about this story is that the way her face just fell when she found out I got the highest, and the way the faces of all the girls who bullied the crap out of me, when their faces fell, it felt so good. And then when my friend continued to say that out loud, like, you got the highest, and she was so happy, the teacher was like across the room. She just yells from her table like, okay, that's enough. And one of the girls who were like, they weren't nice to me at all, but one of them was going around the entire class asking everyone, how much you get? How much you get? She just skipped me. She went to everybody else and she just skipped me, and it was just like this, like, how much you get? How much you get? And then when she came to me, she was just like, yeah, yeah. Just felt so good. To this day, it is truly one of the greatest moments of my life. So this is year 11. I remember, I think it was like finals season and we're writing our finals. So you're sitting in this auditorium for like 2-3 hours. They won't let you go to the bathroom until like an hour and a half is finished. I'm religiously writing my paper, you know, I'm like going at it. I think it was a business paper or an economics paper, I don't know. I'm working my ass off. And then all of a sudden I have to use the facilities, obviously, and I see that people are going to the washroom and they finally give them permission to, like, you know, use it one by one. So there were obviously these invigilators, and the one who was closest to me, I raised my hand up and I go like, please, can I go to the washroom? I needed to get out of there. I needed to clear my head. Plus I had to use the washroom. So I raised my hand up and I'm like, super scared to do it. Oh my god, the woman who came to me, she was a math teacher. She taught the smart kids math. She comes to me and the entire auditorium is dead silent, okay? It's so quiet. She starts yelling at me. And at that moment, I was terrified for my life. She's letting everyone else go, and she comes to me, she goes like, oh, why do you want to go? What's your problem? And it got extremely uncomfortable because then everyone started looking at me. And then 5 minutes later, she comes back to me and I'm writing my paper. She goes like, okay, go. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. No, it's okay. It's fine. Whatever. And I just did this to her and I went back to writing my paper because it was so uncomfortable and honestly a little embarrassing. Why some teachers just like embarrassing people? It's just Which brings me to my next story that also happened during finals. Actually a very tense time, and my anxiety was at an all-time high. From like home to the school bus to reaching school to the exam hall, like I was on this close to having a panic attack. Anyways, outside our auditorium where all the students from the entire grade go and sit and write their own papers, there's like a seating plan on the wall. It says your name on it. Check that and you go inside and you take your seat to avoid any issues. Obviously, me being an overthinker, I checked it like 500 times. I was still like, on my way. I look at it just to be safe, even though the tables clearly had her name on it. So it's my turn. Everyone's going in one by one. I go in, I took a quick glance. The second I set my foot in the auditorium, I felt someone just grab me from behind and yank me back. This math teacher, it's always the math teachers for some reason. She wasn't really that nice, to be fair. It's close to my face. She's looking at me like this. First of all, she had this huge, like, tight grip on my hand. She was just staring at me with those big-ass eyes for no reason. I started panicking because the exam was about to start, and this woman has me in, like, a God knows what she's trying to do. She's trying to intimidate me. I just want to, like... I couldn't think straight. I didn't want to look at her. I didn't want to, like, waste my time giving her a response. This close, like, inches away from my face. You don't really know what to do in those moments when like, someone's this close to your face and it's not a pleasant situation. I still think about it to this day. I still remember what she was wearing and I still remember the panic I felt, but I couldn't care less in that moment. It wasn't until like after the exam that it hit me what she actually did, and it was super uncomfortable. Extremely uncomfortable. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Speaking of washrooms, I just remembered a ghost story. Okay, this one's absolutely insane. I'm pretty sure it constitutes to like child abuse and child neglect. That's what I think because the stakes were so high. Anyways, here's what happened. It was like the start of our day and we had this thing. It was some test. I think it was a cat test. Not that cat test. It's just like a multiple choice thing and it I guess guesses your intelligence or some weird crap like that. I don't know, okay. We didn't know we were gonna have it and they announced it and we had to go to the auditorium. We had it at the beginning of our day and it went on until lunch and that took about like 3 hours. So for 3 hours straight, they abruptly give us a test. When we're doing the test, obviously, people want to go to the washroom and we brought water with us because we didn't want to die of thirst. All of a sudden, one by one, like I looked around and people's hands were going up at an exponential speed. Everyone was just raising their hand up. All the girls were like asking the female teachers, like, can I go to the washroom? Please, guys, I need to go. They declined every single one of us, one by one by one by one by one, for 3 hours straight. Some of us had to like beg. It was like your life was on the line. It's like all of a sudden my life started to flash before my eyes. Because they never gave us a warning. They never told us. Everybody was dying. And the second the exam got over, everybody ran to the bathroom. I thought I was gonna faint. But everybody ran to the washroom. Generally felt so sick after that. Okay, this next one, it pisses me off to this day. And it's so annoying. So I got dress coded for the first time in my life ever. We had like skirts and pants, so you can choose what you wanted to wear. And I ended up wearing the pants, always. Frankly, I looked good in them, and I liked them. Super comfortable, kind of, unless you, whatever. Anyways, moving back. So the skirts that we had, they were different compared to what I used to previously wear, because in my old school, I used to wear kind of like the flowy kind of skirts that were a little open and like comfortable. This one was slightly like a pencil skirt, so not flowy, but kind of just like hanging onto you. I rarely wore those, but on moments when I did want to wear them, it was important that you do not show a single inch of your skin. And so one time, I was wearing knee-high socks, and this woman, she was a very important woman. She overlooked all of us. So she sees me and she goes like, you can't wear that. It was like till here, and you can see a little bit of my knee. The skirt was like, I think 2 inches above my knee, so I'm showing like this much skin. Unless you come like really close to me and you're voluntarily looking at my leg like that, you can't see anything. She goes like, you can't wear that. You need to buy stockings. And the thing about me was, when I was a kid, I was the queen of stockings. Every color, you name it, I had it. Pink, yellow, golden, green, light blue. Except when I grew older, it was just, I didn't have them anymore. And frankly, they were harder to find. Anyways, so during that point, I really wanted to wear my skirt. You know, like I bought it, I should wear it. That started a 4-hour trip to find stockings that aren't too transparent, but also like covers up my leg and it's also dark. I spent 4 hours of my life going from store to store looking for these stockings, and the closest thing I could find were these like black stockings, except when you put them on, there was like slightly translucent in some places, like because of the material. Otherwise, again, unless you're like voluntarily looking at my legs like this, you can't see it. So I wore them to school the next day. This woman comes up to me and she dress codes me in front of everyone, and she goes like, you can't wear that. And I'm like, excuse me? She's like, you can't wear that. I'm like, why not? She's like, I can see your leg. I'm like, where can you see my leg? Because it's like I'm covered head to toe. I am covered, not head to toe, but like leg to leg, I'm covered. So what the hell are you looking at? First of all, why are you even looking? And she's like, I don't care, you can't wear this. I'm like, what is the problem? I think it was like in some places like here or somewhere, where like sometimes when you wear stockings you can see a little, like, I think it's the net that kind of comes apart or something like that. I don't know what it is. And I kept asking her, I'm like, you can't see anything, you can't just dress code me for no reason. She's like, I can see your legs. And I said, where? Show me where you can see my legs. Show me where I am showing any inch of my legs skin. Show me where you can see my knees. But she wouldn't let it go. Ever since that time, I never wore that skirt ever again. And I also lost my money's worth. So it was slightly hypocritical. I don't want to say why, but she was being extremely hypocritical. So I don't really know why she did that, and I did not enjoy it, and it made me very mad. Oh, I'm reminded of another one. So there was this girl who I shared 2 classes with, and she wasn't that nice to me. It was like the attitude, like unnecessary attitude, and I obviously noticed it, but I just never said anything, because like what's the point with these people? One time during English class, she calls me. She's sitting here and I'm sitting here, so we're kind of close, and she goes like, hey, can you come here? Oh, and something about her that like pissed me off always, and I feel like she knew about it and she always used it to her advantage, was that she never pronounced my name correctly. Instead of having 1 A, my name has 2 A's. Either ways, it's still Maahi, right? It's still Maahi. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter 1 A or 2 A's, it's still Maahi. This girl used to completely butcher my name, and every time, you know, I'd politely correct her. I'm like, this is not my name. She would constantly like miscall me. I would correct her nicely, because it was like, at first I was like, there's no reason to get mad, and then when she purposely started doing it, I was like, girl, you're pissing me off. Anyways, so one time she calls me and she was like, listen, I'm really sorry if I've been like a B word to you. Like, I'm really sorry about that. I didn't mean to. I was surprised. I was like, maturity, wow. But I was like, it's okay, no problem. And then, oh my god, ugh, right after English class, I had this other class that I shared with her. 2 seconds later, she switched everything. She changed back to being the meanest person ever. And I was just appalled at how shockingly stupid people are sometimes. It just like, I'm just... The funny thing was, there's nothing funny about it actually. We had to do this group project for this other class. I came in a little late, and unfortunately I couldn't choose my friends to be in the group with, so I ended up being with the most not like... It was kind of like the popular kids who were in the group, and this girl was also in the group, and so the popular kids always interacted with each other. They like constantly like tried to exclude me from things, and like they were having fun, and you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. Anyways, so one of the girls I was with in this group, we were having a conversation, and I don't know what happened. She ended up saying something like, I don't know what it was that prompted her to say this, but she said something, and I was like, awkward, like, whatever. And then all of a sudden, she just goes like, I was just kidding, you know, don't go home and post this on your Instagram story that you're mad at me. Huh? My jaw on the floor. Me? Shook. I was shaken. I was shook. I was shaking. Okay, I was super active on Instagram back in the day. Like I dominated the thing. So active. Like I don't even like I don't do much on there anymore. Back then, I was a maniac. I used to post like a maniac on my stories. But she was like, then go home and post this on your Instagram story. Yeah, and how people are so stupid is beyond my knowledge. All throughout ninth grade, I was also known as the pink kid. My bag was pink, my lunch bag was pink, my lunch box was pink, my sweater was pink, my watch was pink, my iPad cover was pink, my headphones were interesting. Now that I think about it, I had a lot of pink things back then. Anyways, that was this video. Don't let people walk all over you, okay? Yeah, whatever. Bye!